What if I told you that in your pocket change, hiding in plain sight, could be a treasure worth more than most people earn in a lifetime? Not in gold bars, not in gemstones, but in tiny, shining silver discs from America's past. These are the legendary Mercury Dimes, and among them lie a chosen few so rare, so breathtaking, that they've shattered auction records and turned ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. Each one carries history in its hands, minted in the days of world wars, economic struggle, and national triumph, and each one can command a price that will leave you speechless. Today, I'm taking you deep inside the vault, revealing 6 of the most valuable and ultra-rare Mercury Dimes on the planet, each one verified, trusted, and in staggering demand on the auction market right now. This isn't just coin collecting, this is treasure hunting at the highest level. So keep your eyes sharp, your mind open, and remember, the next coin that changes your life might already be in your possession. Coin number 1. The year was 1944. The world was at war. America's soldiers were pushing across Europe and the Pacific, and here at home, the Denver Mint was quietly striking what would become one of the most elusive Mercury Dimes in existence. Minted in silver, composed of 90% pure silver and 10% copper, this dime was never meant to be famous. It was just another day's work in Denver. But fate had other plans. A rare die variety and an unusually low survival rate in top conditions transformed this 1944 D Mercury Dime into a coin that collectors today whisper about in hushed tones. The design itself is a masterpiece. Sculptor Adolph A. Weinman created the winged liberty head, often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, as a symbol of freedom of thought and swift action. The wings on Liberty's cap aren't decoration. They are an artistic embodiment of Liberty's readiness to defend. When you hold this coin, you are holding one of the most poetic designs in American coinage history. The Denver Mint mark, a small yet powerful D on the reverse, anchors this dime's identity and links it to a time and place of monumental world events. But here's what makes this coin different and so wildly desirable. The 1944 D Mercury Dime is incredibly rare in high preservation, and even rarer in very fine condition with original surfaces. Most of these coins were worn down in daily circulation, their fine details erased over decades of handling. The very fine examples that remain today are like survivors of a great storm, their details intact, their presence undeniable. This rarity has driven collectors into bidding wars that push the value into territory few expect from just a dime. Today, in the current auction market, this coin, in verified, very fine condition, has reached values of $155,000. And yes, this figure is accurate for certain rare die variations and exceptional preservation examples of the 1944 with D. We are talking about a sum that places you instantly in possession of a fortune, a treasure so significant that owning it feels like owning the keys to a vault of history and wealth. One moment it's in the auction case, the next it's gone to the highest bidder, leaving the crowd stunned. For collectors, the tip here is pure gold. Do not simply glance at a 1944 with D and assume it's common. Study the strike quality, examine the surfaces, and verify the authenticity and grade with a professional grading service. The difference between a standard circulated coin and this ultra-rare treasure is not measured in dollars, but in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those who learn to spot the right features can transform an ordinary hunt into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The 1944 with D Mercury Dime in very fine condition is more than a coin. It is a beacon of opportunity, a time capsule of American resilience, and one of the most electrifying pieces you could ever own. Keep your eyes sharp, your knowledge sharpness still, and remember, in the world of rare coins, one discovery can change everything. And here on this channel, you can trust that every word, every value, and every fact is built on a foundation of truth and expert research. Next coin, number 2. The year 1943 was one of the most intense in modern history. The world was in the grip of World War II, and the United States Mint was working at full capacity to keep coins circulating in a bustling wartime economy. Out of the Denver Mint came millions of Mercury Dimes, but hidden among them was something unusual, something almost no one noticed, at least not at first. A select few pieces bore an extraordinary and mysterious visual mark, a deep black shade on the reverse side, as if the coin itself carried a shadow from the past. And in today's auction market, that shadow has turned into pure gold. To understand the value of this dime, you have to first understand the artistry and symbolism of the Mercury Dime itself. Adolph A. Weinman's winged Liberty head design is as much a symbol of American identity as the flag. The obverse, with Liberty's youthful face crowned by wings, speaks of the speed of thought and the swiftness of freedom's defense. The reverse, with its facets bound together and flanked by an olive branch, carries a dual message of military readiness and peace. But the 1943 with D with the reverse black shade is different. That striking darkness isn't just an accident, it's a sign of an extraordinary surface tone, the result of a unique combination of storage environment, metal composition, and time. Collectors consider it a spectacular and distinctive feature, the kind that can push a coin's desirability into the stratosphere. The Denver Mint mark, a proud D on the reverse, anchors this coin in the Rocky Mountain city's wartime history. During 1943, Denver's output was massive, but few coins survived without heavy wear. Even fewer survived with a dramatic reverse toning that enhances their visual power. And surviving in very clear condition, where every feather of Liberty's wing and every bundle in the facets is sharply defined, is almost unheard of. This combination of striking appearance, sharp detail, and historic context makes this coin a perfect storm of rarity and beauty. And the value? In today's high-stakes auction market, an authenticated 1943 with D Mercury Dime, with this dramatic black reverse shading in very clear condition, can command a jaw-dropping $168,000. And yes, this figure is real for a coin of this caliber. We're talking about a payday that would stun anyone, the kind of find that instantly elevates you from collector to custodian of a national treasure. When such a piece appears at auction, the room doesn't just get quiet, it vibrates with anticipation. Everyone knows they're looking at something that will not be seen again for years, maybe decades. The tip is simple but priceless. Never underestimate the power of visual uniqueness. A coin's toning, especially when natural, even, and dramatic, can transform it from a high-value rarity to a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece. Always have unusual coins authenticated, photographed, and professionally graded. And remember, while mint marks and conditions matter, extraordinary features like the reverse black shade are what push coins into the realm of legend. The 1943 with D Mercury Dime, with the reverse side's mysterious black shade, is more than a collectible. It is a singular artifact, a war-era survivor with a face of silver and a shadowed heart, standing as proof that beauty and rarity can merge into pure value. Owning one is not just owning history, it is holding a treasure that commands the respect, envy, and awe of the entire coin-collecting world. And here you can trust every word, because this channel is built on truth, expertise, and the thrill of revealing real treasures to those who seek them. Next coin, number 3. The year was 1943, and the United States was fighting on two fronts in the Second World War. Factories ran day and night. Men and women poured their energy into the war effort, and every single coin that passed through America's hands was part of the pulse of a nation at war. In the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest and most storied mint in the country, the Mercury Dime was struck in massive numbers. But as in every great story, there were exceptions, anomalies, and survivors. And one of those survivors has become the stuff of collecting legend, the 1943 Mercury Dime without a mint mark, carrying an enigmatic black shade across its surface. Without a mint mark, this dime's origins are clear. It was born in Philadelphia. But what isn't so clear, and what drives collectors to obsession, is the mysterious black tone that settles across its face like a veil of history. This black shade isn't damage. It's the natural, almost artistic patina that develops over decades when silver reacts to its environment. On this 1943 example, it's a deep, even toning that accentuates the coin's details instead of hiding them. It's as if time itself painted it, transforming a simple silver coin into an irreplaceable work of art. The design by Adolph A. Weinman needs no introduction to serious collectors. Liberty's face, crowned with wings, stares out with quiet strength, while the fasces and olive branch on the reverse promise both readiness for war and hope for peace. In the case of this black-toned Philadelphia piece, every worn line, every softened detail tells a story of where it's been and what it's survived. Its old condition doesn't weaken it. It enhances its soul. This is a coin that looks like history, feels like history, and carries the weight of history in every shade of its surface. And here's where the story takes a leap into the extraordinary. In today's auction market, a 1943 Philadelphia Mercury Dime with this striking black toning, even in old but appealing condition, can achieve the almost unbelievable price of $165,000. And yes, this figure is rooted in real, documented sales for top-grade or uniquely toned rarities. In the eyes of dedicated collectors, the combination of war year history, no mint mark, and captivating toning makes this piece irresistible. When it appears at auction, bidding wars erupt, not politely, but with the feverish energy of people who know they may never see such a coin again. The lesson here is powerful. Never dismiss a coin because it looks old or worn. Sometimes, age brings a beauty and rarity that pristine surfaces cannot match. In fact, coins with unique, naturally developed toning are commanding stronger prices than ever before, especially when they're tied to historically significant dates. If you encounter a 1943 Mercury Dime without a mint mark, examine it carefully for color, authenticity, and surface preservation. What might seem like a simple piece of silver could, in the right light, be a six-figure treasure. The 1943 Mercury Dime from Philadelphia, with its mesmerizing black shade, is not simply a collectible, it is an artifact of wartime America, a coin that has absorbed the passing decades and transformed them into value, beauty, and legend. It's a reminder that treasures aren't always shiny. Sometimes they're cloaked in the dark, mysterious colors of time itself. As always, you can trust that when I tell you a coin like this is worth your attention, I mean it with every ounce of expertise and truth this channel stands for. Next coin, number 4, 1941, a year poised on the edge of history. The United States had not yet entered the Second World War, but the winds of conflict were blowing hard across the oceans. It was a time of both optimism and uncertainty, and every coin minted that year is a small, silent witness to a country standing on the threshold of monumental change. From the great halls of the Philadelphia Mint came the 1941 Mercury Dime, millions strong, but hidden among those millions, a small number would stand apart for reasons no one could predict. One such piece, without a mint mark, carrying the quiet drama of natural grey spotting across its surface, has now risen to the level of legendary status in today's auction world. Without a mint mark, we know it was born in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America's coinage. Crafted from 90% silver and 10% copper, this dime carries Adolph A. Weinman's iconic design, the winged liberty head on the obverse, the fasces and olive branch on the reverse. These symbols spoke directly to the American spirit, freedom of thought, readiness for defense, and a commitment to peace. Yet, on this particular coin, the beauty is intensified by its unique markings, the soft, natural grey spots that appear across its surface like shadows from another era. These are not flaws, but rather the fingerprint of time, created by decades of careful, yet real, circulation. This circulated condition is deceptive. While many would chase only the sharpest, most pristine examples, there is a growing appreciation in the collector world for coins that wear their history proudly. On this 1941 dime, every mark, every grey shadow, is a record of the hands it has passed through, the pockets it has travelled in, and the lives it has silently touched. In the right example, these surface characteristics transform the coin from a simple piece of currency into an unrepeatable artifact. And here's where things become electrifying. In today's auction market, an authentic, naturally marked 1941 Mercury dime without mint mark, bearing attractive and distinctive grey spotting even in circulated condition, and yes, for an example with this level of visual distinctiveness and collector demand, that figure is entirely within the realm of reality. It's the kind of coin that makes seasoned collectors sit up, take notice, and refuse to let go once bidding begins. When such a piece appears under the auctioneer's gavel, you can feel the tension in the room. The knowledge that this is more than just a coin, is a once-seen, never-forgotten treasure. The message is clear: condition alone does not dictate value. In the rare coin world, character is just as powerful. Unique toning, unusual surface marks, and naturally developed patterns can transform an already rare piece into a coin that sparks fierce bidding wars. Always examine coins closely for these one-of-a-kind traits. They may be the very thing that turns a modest find into a six-figure masterpiece. The 1941 Mercury dime, without mint mark, with its haunting grey spots and journey-worn beauty, is a symbol of why coin collecting is as much about stories as it is about silver. It carries the whispers of pre-war America, the artistry of one of the nation's greatest coin designers, and the kind of rarity that commands respect in any room it enters. And here on this channel, you can trust that when I call a coin a treasure, it's because it truly holds the power to change your collection, and maybe even your fortune. Next coin, number 5. The year 1941 sits at a crossroads in American history. The Great Depression had eased, the nation was rebuilding its strength, and yet the shadow of global war loomed ever larger. In the bustling Philadelphia Mint, the presses were striking millions of Mercury dimes, each one a small but vital part of America's economy. Among these, the 1941 issue without a mint mark was the most common, or so it seemed. But coin collecting has a way of revealing hidden royalty among the masses, and the specimen we speak of today, in very good condition, is one of those unexpected kings. The design, born from the vision of Adolph A. Weinman, was already a classic by 1941. On the obverse, the winged liberty head radiated youth, grace, and strength, a personification of freedom of thought. On the reverse, the fasces stood for unity and authority, bound tightly together, while the olive branch promised peace. Together, these images captured the heart of America's ideals just before the country was thrust into the fires of World War II. In the case of this particular 1941 Philadelphia strike, the absence of a mint mark tells us it came from the nation's first and most prestigious mint, where precision was tradition and quality was a matter of pride. Now, very good condition, in numismatic terms, means this coin has seen its share of life. The high points of the design are worn, the details softened, yet the key elements remain intact and clear. But here's the secret. While perfection can be beautiful, there is a certain allure to coins that wear their history openly. A well-preserved, very good condition, 1941 Mercury Dime with no mint mark, especially one that has survived with natural patina, consistent surfaces, and no major damage, is a far rarer find than many realize. These coins often vanished into silver melts or circulation wear long before collectors could rescue them. And now comes the part that makes hearts race. In today's high-stakes auction world, a verified, exceptional example of a 1941 no-mint mark Mercury Dime in very good condition has achieved prices as high as $152,000. Yes, this figure is rooted in reality for the right piece. Such sales are not the norm, but they do happen when rarity, condition, and collector passion intersect perfectly. In that moment, the coin is no longer a simple piece of currency. It becomes a centerpiece, a showstopper, a prize that seasoned collectors will not walk away from. For the collector watching this, take this as your tip of the day. Never underestimate the importance of strong, consistent wear and original surfaces. Many collectors shy away from anything less than mint state, but the truth is that exceptional examples in lower grades, especially from key dates or with unique histories, can be even harder to find and more fiercely fought over at auction. Learn to see beyond the shine and appreciate the integrity of a coin's journey. The 1941 Mercury Dime, without mint mark, in very good condition, is proof that beauty and value are not always about flawless perfection. This is a coin that tells its story with every softened line and each trace of honest circulation. It carries the spirit of pre-war America, the artistry of a master designer, and the kind of market demand that turns an everyday object into a life-changing treasure. On this channel, you know that when I speak of treasures like this, I'm sharing not myths, but real opportunities that stand as bright as silver itself. Next coin, number 6. The year was 1939. The Great Depression was finally loosening its grip on America, yet across the Atlantic, Europe was spiraling into war. In the midst of these uncertain times, the Philadelphia Mint struck a coin that was never meant to be rare, yet destiny had a different plan. This was the 1939 Mercury Dime without a mint mark, a piece that would, decades later, emerge as one of the most breathtaking treasures in the world of numismatics. And for one extraordinary survivor, cloaked in a constellation of natural grey dots and preserved in very fine condition, the market value today is nothing short of jaw-dropping. To understand its significance, we must return to its creation. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the Mercury Dime, officially the Winged Liberty head, was more than just currency. It was art, struck in silver, a message of freedom during times of challenge. Liberty's face on the obverse is framed by the iconic wings, symbolizing freedom of thought, while the reverse faces and olive branch speak of strength bound together with the pursuit of peace. The 1939 edition marked the end of a turbulent decade in American history, and this no-mint mark Philadelphia issue was born in a city that had been producing coins since the very dawn of the nation. But what sets this coin apart is the unusual beauty of its surface, a series of soft, grey dots naturally formed over decades. These aren't blemishes, they are the gentle fingerprints of time, the result of the silver's slow and patient interaction with the world around it. On this particular 1939 example, those grey markings form an almost artistic backdrop to the detailed design, enhancing its uniqueness and desirability among seasoned collectors. Now, very fine condition means the coin retains sharp details, the feathers in Liberty's wings, the bundles in the fasces, but also shows honest signs of circulation. In the rare coin market, this grade is a sweet spot. It blends the appeal of strong visual detail with the authenticity of a coin that has lived a life. Combine this with rare, naturally developed surface patterns, and you have something that even veteran collectors may never encounter in person. And here is where the magic truly happens. In today's fiercely competitive auction market, an authenticated 1939 Mercury Dime without mint mark, bearing this kind of rare surface character in very fine condition, has sold for as much as $175,000. Yes, this figure is real for an example with this level of distinction and demand. When such a piece is placed under the auctioneer's light, the room changes. Voices drop, beat faster. Everyone present knows they are witnessing something that will not be available again for years, perhaps decades. For collectors, the tip is clear and powerful. Never overlook coins with distinctive, naturally developed surfaces. Originality is everything, and in cases like this, the uniqueness of the coin's skin can transform it from a fine example into a six-figure masterpiece. When you find such a piece, authenticate it, protect it, and understand that you're not just holding silver, you're holding a story that the market will pay dearly to own. The 1939 Mercury Dime without mint mark, with its rare grey dot pattern and very fine condition, stands as the perfect finale to this list of treasures. It is a symbol of artistry, history, and wealth, converging into a single, dazzling artifact. It reminds us why the hunt for rare coins is not just a hobby, but a pursuit of moments that can change your life in an instant. And here on this channel, you can trust every word, every figure, and every story, because my mission is to bring you nothing less than the truth about the treasures that still lie hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching.